Hello and welcome to this episode of the Sticky Note Marketing Show. I'm your host, Mary Czarnecki, and today I am thrilled to be able to introduce you to our guest expert, Jackie Grice. So Jackie is a speaker. She's a best-selling co-author. She's a CEO, transformational coach, and also business strategist. She's a founder of her own company, and today we are going to be digging into a very important topic for many business owners, many of you listening and watching today, which is how do we actually build a purpose-driven, successful business, right? The power of being purpose-driven. So she's going to be sharing some of her own lessons, some of the tips and tricks that she shares with her clients. So get those sticky note ready because I think we're going to be hearing a lot. So thank you, Jackie, for sharing your expertise and for being a guest today.
Thank you. I'm excited.
Amazing. So for those who are watching or listening who haven't met you before, just tell us a little bit about what you do. So who do you work with and what do you help them with?
Yeah, that's a loaded question, but I'm the co-owner of a transportation company, and we work with both the public and private sector in moving large groups of people. So when you see those large charter buses taking universities, schools, and military, that's our company. That's what we do, shuttles and all of that. During COVID, when COVID happened, of course, like they say, the wheels on the bus just stop. They literally did. And I went into this moment of silence, actually spent 2 days in silence. And what came out of that was that I really was supposed to dig deeper in what I had, and because I really didn't see that I had anything in my hands but this transportation company. My husband and I have been doing this for over 22 years. So it was like, what am I supposed to do? Like, how am I supposed to reinvent myself? And in the silence, I heard, you're supposed to help others launch deeper, and you are supposed to do that. And out of that came the coaching and business consulting. And what I do is I really help people build a purpose-driven business. I call it a business with soul, and help them build this life that they've dreamed, prayed, and hoped for. So that's what I do.
I love it. So you move people and you move people, right? You move
We
people
move.
from where they are to where they really need to be.
Absolutely. We use that. We're the bridge to getting you to your destination. And so, either way it goes, we are moving people to what we hope will be an extraordinary destination.
Amazing. Now,
Yeah.
on the topic of today about this purpose-driven business, I know that you've had your own experience with this, your own transformation, but one of the things you really help people with is making sure that their business, the way that they're designing their business, building their business, aligns not just with those financial goals, but also with broader goals. So, where are you seeing people get stuck in this situation where they're building something that maybe isn't getting them closer to where they want to be?
A lot of times you find people that build things because they feel like, oh, this is where the money is. This is what people are looking at. I'm going to do real estate or whatever. And it's more of they're looking at what they feel is profitable.
Mm.
My thing is, because a lot of times, and this is like a key that I tell people, what's in your hands? That's my big thing. What do you have in your hands? Because what we often do is we compare what other people have, and we think that is the thing that I'm supposed to do. And it may not be anything that you have and that you're good at or you're gifted at. So that's the first thing, is really helping people discover. And I have them write out a list of 20 things that they're good at, not what you can make money at, but what are you good at? What is it that you love? What do you have a passion for? And out of that, then as the business strategist, I show them how to take that to build a business. Because once you do that, you're building out of purpose and not out of these other things.
And I
We
think that's a really important point because what are you building from? Are you building from
Yeah.
a sense of, oh, it worked for them, so I just have to model it, or that sense of desperation of, oh, I just have to keep going? And
Okay.
I love that about your origin story, about the fact that you embrace the power of the pause. You probably, if you're anything like me, were probably thinking in that quiet moment of there are a million other things I could be doing right now. But how powerful that moment was for you just to sit in the quiet and listen. So
Oh,
when people resist that, how do you get them through that? Because I'm sure that resistance comes up.
oh yeah, it does. And I try to continue to show them and get them to look at a life with them doing what they really love and are very passionate at doing. And after you continue to drill down, and that's the coaching definitely helps that part, they're like, I get it, because their eyes light up. And even in my own experience, I let people know when I was stuck in the same, there were things that I totally discount. I never saw myself as a coach or a business strategist or anything, even though I was doing those things. I just saw myself as this transportation person. So I tried to do the same thing that I help other people not do. People were starting to, Amazon is blowing up, and especially during COVID. So I was like, oh, I can become one of the, like you have the transport companies for Amazon. I went through that whole process. I'm telling you, it's like months. And I'm just like, I have to do this. This is where the money is. This is, we can survive. And when I say every door that I tried to open like that would shut. And I was really left with, okay, can I sell real estate right now? But that market was going down. So I was really trying to think of what I could do to make money. And that's when I was instructed actually by my pastor to just take 2 days and hear God is speaking, but you have to hear what he's saying. So that's what I really push with people, especially when you're trying to build something purpose driven. You have to get quiet. You have to get silent. I didn't want to hear that when he said that. I'm like, look, I need to make some money. Bills coming in. And he was like, no, this is what I hear. I hear that you're supposed to take these 2 days in total silence. And I'm like, but I did it because I really didn't have anything else to do. But I try to push people into doing that. Don't do it because you have nothing else to do. Do it because you want to hear direction, and you don't want to spend 5 years figuring out that this isn't what you want to do.
But if you don't take that time, it
Oh,
doesn't, you don't create enough space to even listen. And so I think that's a really important thing.
yeah.
Hopefully everyone's writing this down on their sticky notes.
Yeah.
But it is true. It's so funny. As a marketing consultant and strategist, a lot of times people bring me in because they're doing all these different things right in there to promote their business. And they've never actually paused for long enough to say, okay, we're doing all these things because we can, but
Yeah.
should we? Does this actually, is this a distraction? Is this on
Right.
track? Does this get us closer to our goals or further from our goals? Or are we doing it because we should and all of our other competition and everyone else is doing this and I'm just
Exactly.
jumping on the train with it? So I think it's very powerful the way that you're able to help people open that space to ask those questions.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's just so important because we just tend to, a lot of times we operate out of survival or what other people are doing. But the way that I've seen growth is when you set yourself apart, when you do something that other people aren't doing. And I think that's, and part of that is getting really clear, like who you are, not just what my business does, but who you are. Like I talk about the soul of a business, it's you are an extension of your business. So who are you? What are those things, those values that are important to you? And then grow your business in that way,
Yeah.
as opposed to, let me just do, it's working for them, but it doesn't often work for you. And the crazy thing, I do want to mention this to people, the problem with comparing yourself or saying this is what they do, if you fall short, you're going to feel like a failure because you're trying to do something that is not what you're called to do. So you're comparing yourself with this, maybe a person that's doing what they're supposed to do in their lane and they're thriving in that. So you're always going to come up short. You're always going to be chasing that thing. And I just haven't seen that work very well. And I've done that. It's now, I like the Amazon thing. I didn't really want to do it. My heart wasn't in it, but I was like, I'm going to go through this process. And I think at the end of the day, when that door shut, it was like, okay, it was the best thing that ever happened.
No, but exactly to your point, I want to drill into that because you could have the best strategy, right? Like you were looking at this model, you said, okay, people are doing this, it's profitable. I can do this. I have the wherewithal, the knowledge, the expertise, the equipment to
Yeah.
do this. But how do you help people then who are saying, maybe listening, watching this right now, and they're like, okay, I'm doing something, it's never really quite clicked. I'm thinking that there might be something here. So for those people who are saying, yeah, I'm there, I got that thing that's not clicking right now, what do they do? What's the next step for someone who may be hearing this and saying, okay, I'm there, but now what?
So they're there in the sense of they feel like they found their lane. Is
Well,
that,
before they find their lane. So imagine like you, when you were trying to do that, make the Amazon thing work,
yeah.
but before you realize that, okay, we got to go in a different direction. How do you decide, how do you shift that? How do you make sure that those values that you've got deep inside of you really come together with the business strategy?
Absolutely. The biggest thing is trusting your gut, trusting that part of you, that instinct. And that's the reason that I love the list, because you have them write a list. And it, if you had all the money in the world, what would you do? If you had no financial obligations, what is it that you would do? And a lot of times, what they may be doing is connected to that thing. They just haven't figured out how to connect. Like, I love business, so I was in business, but and probably coaching people and doing all strategy, but I never looked at that as a business. I just, I never looked at it as a thing that I could do. And yeah, so it's really about trusting, what is this? What is that part of me that I'm really good at, and making that decision based on that, taking money off the table completely.
Do you ever find that when you're working with clients and helping them unpack these things that they're good at, that they're able to do, that they have this calling to do more of,
Mhm.
that they downplay it because it's almost too easy for them, but they don't realize that it's not easy for everyone?
Exactly. I tell people all the time, and that's it. We often discount what we have. Like, one of my clients, she she goes around to organizations like churches and different things, and they use her. She's the person that, like, for nonprofits, she gets the money. And I'm like, that is a thing. Do you realize that not everybody can do that? That's the reason that they keep calling you to do it.
No, it's so true.
Yeah. So I'm like, do you realize that organizations will hire you to raise this money, to do those things, because you're very good at it. You're a natural at it. And she was like, that. And now she's doing it. And it is amazing. Something that she really did not think was anything.
That's
And
amazing.
like, if you say some things that we take for granted, other people are just like amazed at it. And we're like, it's, yeah. But again, I think that all goes back to comparison. It is, one writer, Nona Jones, says, she wrote a book called The Comparison Trap. And we get caught in comparing our gift, what we're good at, with what someone else is doing. And it never looks good when you do that, when you compare it. Yeah.
Let me ask you about that because I know, so one of the keynotes that I do is about overcoming imposter syndrome. And one of the things we touch on it is doubting ourselves or having that mean girl voice in our head, even in the face of objective proof of your skills and abilities. So, like you're saying, people are going to her for this ability she has to fundraise, but yet in the
Right,
conversation with you, she's, oh, that thing, everyone's
right.
right. So even in the face of this company keep coming back to her. So how, when you're thinking about this, how can someone embrace that, right? Get more ambitious around showcasing that unique talent that they have, but also maintain humility. Where is the balance between that?
Oh man, and having a great circle of a great community, a great circle of friends, your inner circle. It may be 3 or 4 people, but community is so important because you need people to keep you grounded. But at the same time, those people are pushing you and reaffirming those things in you because there are enough people and then the own voice in your own mind that says, I can't do this. It doesn't matter if I have a PhD in it. It's not quite ready. It's still not good enough. And you need people to say, you're good, you're worthy of this, and you're really good but you need that community of people to do that. And you have to have people that are around you. I have a small circle of friends, and I tell them, please, if I ever do or say anything that's like real crazy, bring me back, please. Do not let me get out here. And you know how sometimes you see people and you're like, is anybody telling them that they are like, but you have to have a good circle of friends or community of people that are helping you and pushing and grounding you all at the same time.
No, I think that's such a valid point, especially in this day and age. If, someone's listening to this and they're running a business on their own, sometimes it can feel
Yeah,
very isolating and very lonely. And like you, I have a small circle of friends that I give full permission to. I'm like, you can call me on anything. You can say that you are acting crazy. I will reserve the right to not listen to you, but
exactly.
please call me on it so that we can talk about it. But
Exactly.
yeah. So
No, that's it. Yeah.
do you have any stories of folks that you've worked with that have made that transition from feeling like I'm just spinning my wheels, I'm just out here isolated on my own to actually taking your advice and getting that circle of friends? Do you have any good stories from folks that you want to share?
Yeah, you know what? I recently took a group, it's 15 of us. We came back at the end of January, so we literally just got back. We went to some of my coaching clients, we went to Costa Rica. And it was like an experience I've never experienced in my life. These women have bonded, they are helping one another, they are connecting, supporting each other's business, supporting like we had a couple realtors. I think a few already have like property that they're working on for other people. But, you know, that I've had the two, like I would say those paradigm shifts that I've seen things like this happen. And this was the second one that happened. The first one was under the tree when I got silent for 2 days. And the second one was on this mountain in Costa Rica. And when I say it was a community, I'm looking at it, I'm watching them connect, grow, keep each other accountable. That is just so powerful right there. And I would say that is a situation like I'm watching really unfold right now. So it's incredible. I'm not sure if I quite answered your question, but yeah, that's been something that I'm watching that's turning out to be incredible.
And I just love that vision of being able to be in a space because I think it is important, right? I think it's important for most business owners, but women especially, I'll say it. I
Yeah.
think we need to get out of our everyday space sometimes and really step outside of the norm to, like you said, create some space, create some opportunity for connection with
Yeah.
other people who are going through similar things. So I think that's a very powerful image. You have to let me know the next time you're going to Costa Rica. I'm totally coming.
Yes, yes. We're doing St. Lucia in 2026. So we're actually planning that out definitely.
I love it. We'll definitely include that. If anyone wants to go to St. Lucia with Jackie, we're going to include that with the show notes.
Absolutely, absolutely. But yeah, it's just a beautiful thing to see. And I would say definitely find your tribe, find those people, because that was a big thing. They would say, I didn't have anybody. You sometimes you do, you feel like you're by yourself in this thing and no one really gets you. That's so important to find those people that you call your people. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
I'm curious in the retreat and the experience that you created for your people, was there a favorite exercise you had, or was there something that you had them do aligned with this idea of really bringing together values and purpose with their business? Was there something special that really stands out to you from that experience you created for them?
It was so many. And I'm not saying it because I put the retreat together, but we worked on values because we worked on values. We did this great exercise also where it was the 10 needs that we all need as a child, right? So we went back and we looked at, and I took water in 2 glasses. And with each of those needs that all of us need when we're in those young formative years, I had them answer questions. How much of this did you get from your mother? How much did you get from your father? And it was amazing to see, because the thing I really wanted people to see is that it's hard to, as a leader, building your business, building this purpose-driven business, it's hard to pour into other people if you only have this much that you've been poured into. And if you realize, okay, I only have this much, then those are the things that you work on. And I think with imposter syndrome, a lot of times it's because we have all the stuff, all the competencies, right? But that part of us that no one sees, that we're like, I didn't get the security from my mother or my father. And you're wondering, why is it that I don't feel worthy? Like I check off all the boxes. Those are the things that we worked on and really drilled down that if you're not full in certain areas, you can't fake that. It's going to come out and it's going to manifest in a way. And I think that exercise was the most powerful, the biggest eye opener. And yeah, because even with marketing and pricing, we price things. If you don't feel worthy, if you don't feel what you're doing is valuable, it's very difficult for you to price yourself. You're going to give it all away and feel like I have to give it all away.
Yeah.
I can't charge for it because, and it really comes down to a lot of those unmet needs. Yeah.
It's so true because that belief has to be there, right? You can
Yeah.
put down on paper whatever strategy you want, but if you don't, in your heart of hearts, inside, really believe in it, you're not going to show up in the right way. You're not going to make the video. You're not going to make the offer on the call. You're just not going to put it out there the same way as if you really believe. That faith really has to be there. And the faith, not just in the offer that we're creating or the service
Right.
that we're providing, but the fact that it's okay that it's your offer, that you're the
Abs-
one bringing this to life.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I'd like to leave them with this. One thing that we worked on was how your needs, your purpose will attract your needs. So when you're in your place of purpose, your needs will be attracted to it. But when you're in your place of weakness and that self-doubt, that's, I don't deserve this, I'm not worthy, predators, the adversary, whatever you want to say that thing is, it will attract that. So when you're in a place of weakness, there are things that you'll attract employees that are not good for you because they can sense that. The lady who keeps dating the loser guy, it is that thing. So it is so important to be a healthy, emotionally healthy person so that you can attract those things that are good for you. We broke that down, but I just love when you're standing in your place of purpose, your needs will be attracted to you. Everything you need will come to you.
And on those days where it doesn't feel as easy to have that self-confidence, that's why you need the people around you, right? The supporters.
Just to remind you that, girl, you graduated from Princeton. Look, you are the bomb, right?
Believe me, though, I mean, we all need the reminders, right? My
You
husband
do.
lovingly calls me a certified geek because I have 3 Ivy League degrees. When I left corporate and started my own business, I had to hire my own coach because I
Yeah.
needed help telling my story with confidence. And so I know you work with, and I work with some very talented, smart, passionate individuals, but sometimes the dark corner conversations come out, right? And it's not easy to tackle that by yourself. You need someone outside of yourself.
You absolutely do. That's so good. So good. Yeah.
Let me ask you, Jackie, first of all, I just want to say thank you so much for sharing your wisdom and expertise. I know everyone is like dying for the link to join you in St. Lucia, by the way. But if you could speak directly to someone watching or listening this who has connected with what you're saying about, I don't just want to build this, I want to build this in alignment, connected to my values, connected to what my unique purpose is here. What do I just do next? What is the next thing that you'd invite them if you could speak directly into them? What would you invite them to do today?
Today, and this is not popular, it is not what you want to probably hear, but to spend at least an hour in silence. And I had two questions I had to ask that my pastor told me. What is your purpose? And what is the strategy? And that is what I would want anyone listening, because it changed my life. Me spending 2 days in silence literally changed my life. So that is the thing that I would leave with people. If you can, not that it's courage, but sometimes they're like, oh, go silent. That's ridiculous. That's silly. I need something like, give me 5 steps to wealth or whatever. But I will tell you, if you could do that, I push people, try to do 8 hours, try to do a day, but start where you are and just say 2 questions. What is my true calling? What is my purpose? Why am I here? And then what is the strategy to take that and build a business from that?
I love that invitation. So we're giving you guys, if you're watching or listening to this, Jackie has officially given you the permission slip to take time, right? To embrace the quiet so that you can actually hear the answer.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Thank you so much for joining us. And I know there are definitely people who are going to want to dig into this more with you, to learn more from you. What is the best place for someone to connect with you?
They can connect with me. They can go to my website, and it's Jackie B and then Grice, GRICE.com. So it's JackieBGrice.com. And from there, you can sign up for our mailing list and all the things that we're going to do, and the trip to Costa Rica, to St. Lucia. You'll be able to get that information, and just other things that we're doing to encourage people and to keep them connected. We're starting a book club. It starts, and we're reading Winning the War of the Mind from Greg Groeschel. So just doing those things to help push and propel people into their greatness. So
amazing. Yes.
yeah.
And we'll definitely, for you guys watching and listening, we will include Jackie's links with the show notes. So make sure to check it out, because I have been over to her website and she has her podcast. She's got her resources. She's got all sorts of things over there just waiting for you and to help you get to this next level, build this purpose-driven business. So thank you, Jackie, so much for joining us today on the Sticky Note Marketing Show. So happy to have you here as a guest.
Thank you. I appreciate it so much. Thank you,
Amazing.
Mary.
All right, for you guys watching and listening, follow up with Jackie, ask her all the questions, follow up and let her know what you got as your download when you embraced the permission slip today of that moment of silence. And we will see you here on the Sticky Note Marketing Show on the next episode. Cheers.
Thank you. Have a good one.